something and it's presented to you first on, it is for you to engage. And be careful trying to ignore things, because that could be the loop in your life. Because if you keep getting a same program going over and over again, it could be different people. Like you could get a program that constantly goes in a reciprocal pattern, and that is because you haven't learned or you haven't done something to make the loop end. It's important for you to confront the boogeyman in your life, because that could be the very thing keeping you at a standstill and disallowing you from getting outside of that loop. Okay? And also stop being predictable. If you're doing things constantly, like what did they say? Madness or craziness is doing something over and over again and expecting a different response or a different result. It's very important for you that if something isn't working in life, and if you're constantly getting the same kind of feedback, it's important for you to change the direction, or maybe switch up something that allows for a different result. It's very important. This is a simulation, but it's also a video game. If you see it as a video game, this is actually quite fun, because then you can basically take full command that everything in here. And then when you get to a certain point, there are points in video games when you're allowed, you gain these tools because you've earned a certain level. So when you've kind of overcome a level, or you've gone past a certain point where you're in another stage of the video game, you'll get times when you've been able to accrue certain types of tools or things that will help you on the next stage of the video game. So then all of a sudden you get all these access to, like, I don't know, like all these herbs, like maybe you get all these new tinctures, you have maybe some fiat or abundance comes to you, and now you have access to live somewhere that's more tropical. Maybe it was important for you in that first part of the video game to experience geographical differences, bombardment of your body, that was to allow you to learn about your body and know that maybe that type of terrain isn't good for you. So you were living somewhere that was challenging your biological directive to alert you to knowing that you need a change of environment that's more cohesive for you. So then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, this isn't right for me. I realize that, oh, I should be living somewhere by the beach. Maybe I need to get more of that ionic energy. Maybe I need more of that healthy lung, something to heal my lungs, which lungs has to do with like dealing with loss, and dealing with forms of like when you're mourning, like someone who's lost someone. So maybe you need to clear. So maybe going to the beach and living somewhere. So then all of a sudden you get this offer from a job like, hey, Fleur, Brun, we have this amazing new position. Only you can do it. You were highly recommended. We'll pay for your relocation and everything. You know what? You could just come and start next week. Then that's the abundance, because now you've overcome something. Now you've maybe became aware of something, and now the video game will give you a placement to go outside to do the healing. So now you have these new tools and this new arena, and now you're going to be there. Same when you're on the beach. Maybe it's meant for you to go somewhere in the forest. Maybe it's meant for you to go somewhere in highland or lowland. Maybe it's meant for you to go somewhere you meet another character in the NPC that's going to teach you something about yourself. It's very important for you to pay attention to the directives that happen in the video game. If you take this life as a video game, whether you accept my position of saying that this is a holographic experience or not, doesn't matter. Life in itself is like a video game. So knowing the rules and knowing the perks of being self-aware is always the bomb.com. Now know that the simulation is about to go buck wild. We're going in this so-called religious, this holy war, which has happened every single world war. It is a program. Okay, so you already know what happens in this program. You already know. You can go and read history books and already know what's coming right now. Try to disengage. Try to make sure you aren't getting involved with any side. Have a level of compassion and keep it moving. Okay, and also because we're going into the dragon year, which is the Asian dragon year, the earth dragon. Remember, the concept of the serpent is coming the year after. We're going to go through this kundalini rising. So because we have the twin energy, you shouldn't be surprised that relationships are going to break up if they haven't already. So what happened? I shouldn't say break up, right? and it's just what I think will happen. So take this with a grain of salt. It's just my knowing. Is that next year in 2024, which is an 8, which is the serpent, it's that Kundalini energy, right? It's like this, right? It's the 8. It's the infinity, right? That brings with it an energy of merging with the one you started in the simulation with. If you are one of the 144 and you came into the simulation, you came in with partners. Now we did the whole 12 times 12 is 144. Big up to M and Alex, who we were going off ham on the last Zoom. That's the 12 times 12, and it's 12 teams. That's why there's 12 tribes. That's why there's 12 hours. Everything is about the 12s because it's literally the different teams. And that's why they talk about the 12 tribes of Sheba, the 12 tribes of Judah. Those are all the different teams that came out into the simulation, and they broke out in different teams. And what happens in those different teams is that they went 2s and 2s. So there's like there's like six. That's why it's, see, as soon as I look, wow, hold on. there's 6 times 2. So it's 6 sets of 2s, right? Yeah, 6 sets of 2s. Just get with me here. It's in my face. So we have the 12 tribes. Those are the 12 tribes, but they're actually 12 groups. This is all my just overstanding, y'all. So just stay with me right now. So there's 12 sets, and those are the ones who came out into the simulation from the ship, Nibiru. There are other ships. Nibiru isn't the only one. Personally, I know that Nibiru is the real Earth. The Earth that has been created here is a simulation. It's been terraformed to look like Nibiru. This whole terraformed Earth that we live in, this is all Earth. Jupiter is Nibiru. Jupiter, that's why we're talking about the Jews. The Jews are Jupiter, okay? The Jews worship Saturn, right? The rings of Saturn. Okay, so Jupiter, the Jews, which, represented, actually, that's my planet. I'm a triple Sag, which is Jupiter is my planet, the most expansive planet. Jupiter is also Nibiru. It's one and the same. Now, you don't have to accept this. This is what I know. You can also give your opinion at the end of the video. I would love to hear what you know. And once we came into the simulation from our pods, and I just woke up in the pods. Some of you know about it. Big up to the Zombies, the Weirbies, where I talked about waking up in the pod. I just woke up in the pod last week. The same day that Brother Panic, they announced him transitioning, even though I know he had transitioned before. The same day is when I had woke up in the pod, and I'll talk about that on another video. Or tonight on Zoom, we'll talk about it again. I think you guys already know. But on Nibiru, we were put in our pods, and it's 12. It's 12 sets of 12. So it's 144. We were put in pods, and when we got out of our pods into this projected reality, when we projected ourselves into biological entities here in the simulation, we went out with our group. So we have 12 groups. That's why they talk about the 12 tribes spread all over the earth. It's a simulation, so we're spread all over because we were going here to engage for whatever reasons, okay? And now, as we're going back to 0 point, we're coming back and we're meeting our twins. It's not your twins, it's your partner. It's your partners you came out into the simulation with. So right now, during this whole year, next year, you're literally going to meet your partner that you came into the simulation with. That's that whole twinning energy. It's not really twins, it's your partner who you came in with. So you shouldn't be surprised that your relationships, if you're in one, and it isn't the person you came in here with, it might end. That's just my personal opinion. It's probably going to end that relationship because you're supposed to get back with your partners. The 12 tribes, the Sheba, the whole 12, everything, the 12, because we got to get back to the 13th. The 13th is the 0 point, is the zenith. Okay, so we have to get back. So you're going to meet your partners that you entered into the game with, the simulation with. So don't be shocked that next year, because I think that the simulation ends in 2025 is the pole shift. That's my personal opinion. Okay. And you can kind of see it with as fast as they're doing things in a simulation. So you meet your partner next year because it's an 8. because it's the Kundalini. It's kind of like the Kundalini rising is just you coming back into your full mind, waking up out of the simulation. Okay. So next year is 2024. It's the year of the dragon. It's the year of the earth dragon. So it's probably that emerald energy. Big up to Brother Panic, who talked about, you know, the Emerald City. You know, we always talk about the Emerald City. And when we look at the yellow grid road, the yellow grid is what surrounds us in this hologram. If you could see it, you can usually see it. Like when you wake up, you'll see the yellow grid. It looks like a honeycomb. And then you're supposed to follow that to the Emerald City. So the first green dragon, big up to no one who came in, it will show up next year. So you most likely will see your twin. And your twin isn't what you think it is. It's literally an opposite equal end of you. So if you represent, and that's why they're trying to, as soon as I talk about twin flames, it's crazy. As soon as I talk about twins, it shows up. You hear us? Okay, let me take a break. Okay, hold on. And that's why, you know, pods, fish swim in pods. You know, people ask me where the pods are underneath the water. We're underneath Antarctica right now. We're sleeping in these pods, a yellow submarine. Big up to the one who shared a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine by the Beatles. Thank you for that. And Beetlejuice, the Beatles sang that song. Big up to Brother Panic, who brought up Beetlejuice, y'all. Beetlejuice implodes. That's when the pole shift, that's when the reset happens. That's also the yellow submarine. We're under it in the pods. We're sleeping in these pods. And then we wake up in the Bureau, which is the real Earth, which is Jupiter. Okay, hold on. Let me take a break. Please put a like on the video if you're up for the shenanigans today. We all live in a yellow submarine, Watch the video. Thank you to the Sea Star who shared it with me. I forgot about the video. I never really watched it. But if you watch the Beatles video, y'all, in the yellow submarine, y'all, talk about the simulation reveal. Holy cow. Anyway, and why is it holy cow? Okay. I might have to. How? You hear them? Okay. But it's so quiet, you can hear everyone talking outside. They are. You should. Okay. Okay, so we're living in pods. We're being taken care of. And when I woke up on the ship, should I do a video separate to that? When I woke up again I woke up on Nibiru again. I talk about waking up on the ship. I'm always getting up on the ship, but I woke up on the ship and I saw my mate. And also, maybe I should share this with you. Do you guys want me to share this with you? It's up to you. You want me to share it? Because I don't want to diverge. Is it okay if I share it? Put a 13 if you want me to share it, because I don't have to. Okay? Okay. I was saying to another Sea Star that I said, you know, I have a specific type that I like. I've always liked a certain type. And I didn't know why. Like, it was a type. And you always think your type is started, maybe your type cast. You know, there's a type cast that people have. So I had a type, and I always think, why did I like this certain type? So when I woke up on Nibiru, the ship, in my pod, in my room, my mate was sleeping next to my pod to protect my pod. Because on the ship, on the west wing of the ship, there was a flood. So one of the people who's head of I assume they take care of a lot of the things on the ship. They were talking, well, okay. Let me slow down because I'm telling you how I woke up on a pod. And this is like a dive, because sometimes I go off topic a little bit. So let me go here. I woke up on a ship on Nibiru. Again, many of you know I wake up sometimes on there. Sometimes it's because something I do here triggers me to wake up in my pod. So I woke up and my mate was sleeping next to my pod. And what's crazy about it, y'all? The reason why I have a typecast here in the simulation is because my mate is the progenitor of all the types I make in the simulation. So all of the males that I'm attracted to in the simulation, it's because of him. So I created, and remember all back in the days when the sea stars used to say to you, they had a spiritual, like they had a ghost husband and he wasn't allowing them to have like a mate here because they had a marriage over there. I kind of understand why they thought that, but it was deeper. It's because outside of the simulation, we have partnerships and marriages or relationships. And when we have them, we basically project them into this simulation reality to keep to connect to them. So it's like odd because when I woke up, he was sleeping next to my pod to make sure my pod was safe. And he is why all the males in this reality, in this hologram, look like him, because I love this person, this being outside of here, and everything I project in here is him. It's so interesting. So I woke up, and when I woke up and I had to get dressed, when you wake up in your pod, you're going to be naked. Okay. So you wake up naked. I look basically facially the same. I'm just more athletic. Just my body is a thinner form. I think I projected myself this way because I think outside of this hologram, I want it to be like really busty because I'm very athletic looking. I'm not as feminine looking physically. Face-wise, I look the same. So it's interesting that I projected myself in this reality more feminine, like hyper feminine, like busty. So there, I'm more athletic looking, same face, same kind of thing, but everything else. It's interesting though what you'll do. You kind of, and the closer we get to waking up, you're going to look more like you do outside the simulation. Okay. So it's interesting when you wake up in your pod, you're naked. So there's like this little, it's like a little thing it was like on a table in my room. And I woke up my pod. I always assumed the pods were going to be in a big space with everybody else. No, my pod was in my room. When I woke up, I had a little flat round thing. Like it had a cover on it, like a round dome on top. It was like a little flat container. And I opened it up and I was naked. I took a little bit of this goo. It looks like almost like a white jelly glue. I just took a little bit and put it in my hand, and it projected clothing like a uniform on me. So I opened it up, and basically that goo projected an outfit on me, my uniform. So it's like a jelly, like a little jelly. And I didn't take a lot. I just took a little bit, and it shot this energy, and it created a whole uniform on me. Okay. And then when I woke up and I went to go give everything that I needed to tell, I considered her to be maybe like a director. I don't know. She had white hair. I went to go sit down. It's almost like I knew what to do. I went to go sit down with this woman, and for her to talk she was calling somebody. She had to call somebody to talk to them. She used her mind, but when she called them, her whole light shot out. Like it was like bright white light. So she's calling somebody telepathically somewhere else, and she's calling them. But when she calls them, her light around her, it's like an aura, like a light brightened up as she's talking to them. And as she's talking to them, I don't hear it, but she's talking to them in her mind. But as she's talking to them, her light around her is like pulsating, like with whatever she's saying, it's like moving with her movement of her thought sound, right? And then when she's done talking to them, basically the light around her goes dim. It goes away. Okay. So that's how they talk, like telephones. What we perceive to be telephones, like archaically, like telephones, they talk with like telepathically, and they can call people from a distance, but her light around her like brightened up. And there was something else that happened. I can't bring it up here because it's very controversial. You can listen to it later. Maybe I'll ever share it again. But they were getting ready for everyone to wake up in their pods. But what she did tell me is that the West Wing of the ship had a flood, and they lost people in those pods. So meaning that when people died over in those pods, there were a couple pods that were flooded. So she said the West Wing, there was a flood. And it made me think that all of the things that are happening in the West, maybe that's what's happening. Like what happens on the ship happens here. So whatever happens on the ship, we will see like it trickle down into our reality. So when she said that the West Wing had flooded out and they lost pods, that means that the bodies in the pods were lost as well. So it could mean while we have a large amount of transitions happen or flooding. And one of the other sea stars also woke up on the ship, but she woke up in the water and they were trying to clear the water out of the west wing of Nibiru. Okay, so I'll just share that to say so on. And also, maybe I shouldn't share it. There's something controversial. I won't share it now, but maybe some of the zombies already know. But there's something else is why they're promoting a certain kind of look here. I saw on the ship. It was somebody who had something. I don't want to be controversial like that. I don't know if I should say it, but there's a reason why they're promoting for certain things here. It's because on the ship, they exist in that way. So anyway, I don't want to disturb your brains. I don't want to disturb your brains. It'll disturb your brains. You want me to share it? You sure? I don't want to ruin your peace of mind because it didn't bother it. I think I knew what that was, but I've never. We can handle it. Please put a like on the video. I'll do it if, okay, fair enough. I'll do it if you put likes on my video. Let's see. I'll do it. But it's going to disturb you. I don't know if I should tell you though. Okay. All right. It won't be surprising? Okay. Okay, so when I woke up, okay, so put a like on the video and I'll share it. That's fair exchange, right? If I give information, I got to tell you. Because it's really, I don't know if it's good for you to hear it. Like, maybe I shouldn't judge how I should just share it, right? Okay? All right, so on the ship, when I woke up in my pod with my mate who was on the floor, he was waiting. And now I understand he was waiting next to my pod because the other ones flooded out. So he was protecting my pod. I woke up, but there was another female in there that woke up too. So she woke up. And remember, when you wake up out of the pod, you're naked. But she was a female. She was a fair-skinned female, kind of shortish hair, very angular features. But she had balls and a penis. It's going to mess with your mind. That's what I'm telling you. She had balls and a penis, y'all. She actually had, she was a female that was a female just the way, and she had a penis and balls. No, she wasn't a trans woman. No. And that's what's crazy, because I think why there's such a push for transsexualism,